Hunter becomes the first 5-star high school football prospect to sign with an FCS team since ESPN started its rankings in 2006. He'd been committed to FSU since March 2020. Guys, let's get into this. Key, I'll start with you. How about Prime? Doesn't get any of the top jobs, not really, goes to Florida, does every single thing so far he said he was going to do. What about Prime?
I mean, what can you say? I mean, think about it. You got one of the – and I can't wait for him to join us when he comes on, because you got one of the greatest football players in the history of the game. You have a well-educated black man, okay, who decided to leave the networks of television to go coach college football, and not coach college football at a Power 5 school right now, but at a small historical black college. And people using the words flip, convince. No, he didn't flip anybody. What he did was take advantage of an opportunity to speak and communicate with a young man's family to get them to understand you not only can get a quality education from an HBCU school, but you also can play football and get and accomplish everything that you set out for, which is get the academics in order and graduate, but also perform at such a level that you are going to be drafted high to make money, just like you set out to. You don't have to go to Oklahoma. You don't have to go to USC. You don't have to go to Florida State. You can come to Jackson State and play for me. You don't think that the NFL coaches, front office people are going to listen to Deion Sanders about one's ability to play at the next level? Because if they don't, they're foolish. They will be foolish. So it's a communication, not a flip or a sale.
And guess what? If I go somewhere else, you can always come with me. I mean,
that's the availability too.
Exactly, Key. And I just want to give credit and kudos to the genius of Deion. I did this the other night, just thinking through it, where, look, Deion Sanders is Deion Sanders. That's prime. And like he said, he's going to be on our show. That's one thing itself. Like, why wouldn't you want for a guy like that to mentor you? The second part of this, Key, though, to be frank with you, is I'm on my phone all day, every day.
Really?
I don't watch TV barely unless it's a live sporting event. I can make a case that this young man will get more exposure going to Jackson State individually due to the deal that Deion has with a platform in Barstool Sports and how they're going to create a brand around him. And how do we look at brands? Through social media. How many followings you have.
You're talking about actual eyeballs.
1,000%.
Right,
not like a special that comes up on linear TV. Not like somebody saying, I'm going to write a story on you. That's how we consume media all day long.
Count the eyeballs.
And that's what Deion does. So he's been able to amplify Jackson State to a degree, to a demographic, frankly, that didn't even know who Jackson State was.
I want to say something about Deion Sanders right now before we move on, because this is an impact. It's an HBCU story too, right? But I want to say something about Deion Sanders. If the only athletic thing he ever did was hit leadoff for a perennial powerhouse, the Atlanta Braves, and by the way, he was you know what his lifetime batting average was in the playoffs? He hit .348 lifetime in the playoffs. So he was a clutch performer, not only the starting center fielder and leadoff man for a team that made the playoffs every year. If that's the only thing he did, that's amazing. But then he was also the greatest cornerback in the history of the universe, right? Like, that was the dude. In fact, other than LT, that's the most impressive defensive player I've ever seen. Like, you hear stories about who he had to take it easy on in practice so he wouldn't demoralize them, right? Like, he was insane. You know, athletes at that level almost never come back to coach. They almost never do it, not at the Deion level. But he's coaching. What is that, just to make money? No, Deion can get money on TV. He's doing it to give back. That's obviously important to him. And he's snubbed by he's not at a power. He goes, okay, watch this. Takes a job at an HBCU and then he does this. So this is like now the top recruit ever for an HBCU, right?
You know, the crazy thing about it, Max, is Prime has always done it different. Whether it was what people call flamboyant, chains, glasses, you're going to have to put me on layaway, Lamborghinis, taking a helicopter from one football game to a baseball game. He's always done it different. So why wouldn't it be any different at Jackson State? It's going to be the same. He's going to be able to do the same things that he was able to do as a professional as he is coaching. I mean, so when I look at it, just like that young man, Hunter, who's going there, as a kid, I grew up watching Deion as a junior high school player before I got to college. And then eventually I played against Deion and played with him in Pro Bowls and stuff like that. You look at that and you go to yourself, man, I want to be prime. I want to be that. I couldn't run like him, so I had to move the receiver. But you want to be that. And I'm sure this is just one domino that's going to fall over the next several months for that program at Jackson State. Because remember this, they can dabble in the portal too. Mm-hmm. People they can go get to portal too now.
Yeah, all I'm going to tell you is yesterday when this news broke, I got out the baby powder and I put it on the hand. I wanted to slap a lot of people through social media. Because some people were saying really ignorant comments that really started to bother me. But like prominent people in our industry,
what kind of ignorant
were
comments?
saying things like,
they obviously can't be prominent.
Key, this is what money can buy. And I'm saying, this is the problem that you
Now
have
it's
with
a problem.
NIL?
Now
By
it's
the
a
way,
problem,
shocking
Now
news
it's
to
a
people.
problem.
Breaking news. You ready? This has always been the game. This has always been the game since the beginning of time. You don't think people have been getting paid?
Yeah, but
You don't
guess what?
Yeah.
Now it's just you're allowed to get paid.
Coach at an African-American school, now it's a problem.
And
Yeah.
now you can
Yeah.
get paid.
Yeah.
And now this takes away from the Power Five.
That's
this
a
is
bridge
big
too
business,
far.
guys.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
This
You
is
know
big
how it
business
is.
all the way around.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.